My friends, hello. So PewDiePie posted a video, and it's more like a documentary, actually. Normally his videos are like, you know, he's got like the memes, PewDiePie, but this is more of like a kind of serious mini documentary, and that's cool. You'd have to be living under a rock to not be aware of the controversies that have surrounded PewDiePie over the past like 2 years or so, you know, from the infamous like bridge incident to the Holocaust Memorial and the Christchurch shooting and the ADL thing. He's got like this a long laundry list of I guess controversial events tied to his name. And a lot of people have given him shit for that, myself included. But I wanted to talk about this video that he put out because I have a lot of problems with it. And I've already watched it once. In fact, I've already watched it once on stream. But I felt like I didn't do a great job expressing my thoughts on it, so I'm doing it again on stream and subjecting my loyal viewers to the same content twice. But that's okay, you know. Fuck them. So I've been critical of PewDiePie in the past, but I want to be clear about something, and that's that I don't actually care what PewDiePie thinks or believes or is. You can never really know what a person thinks. You can never really know, because they could be lying to you. I call myself far left, you know, like an anarchist and stuff, or a socialist or whatever. And I mean, I am those things, but you don't really know that. Nobody can really know that. It could be some elaborate ruse. I could be an Amish fundamentalist monarchist, for all you know. I don't know. It's entirely possible. You have no idea. I could be just an incredible liar and a very strange person at that. My goal isn't to talk about PewDiePie himself, but rather to talk about the video that he made, how I believe it can be harmful. And when I say harmful, I want to be really specific, okay? I don't mean the video is going to like jump out of the screen and hurt anyone, to my knowledge. What I mean is that some of the messaging in the video, I think, kind of, sort of gives off an interpretation of the world that is beneficial to the interests of certain far-right groups. And if you like those far-right groups, like neo-Nazis or fascists or whatever, if you're in favor of like the genocide, ethno-state, like race mixing is degeneracy, no gay people, no black people, if you're a fan of all of that, then okay, that's great, good, cool. Then this video is not for you. But if you're not a fan of those things, then I would encourage you, I think, just to listen to a perspective on this, because I don't think like Pewd is doing this intentionally necessarily, and again, I don't even care if he is, but the fact that it's happening anyway is a bit of a problem, in my opinion. So let's hit this up. Let's do it. Let's get to the PewDiePie. That's good, right? Do you like that when I do that? Okay, here, let's.
Quick question. Which one of these is a hate symbol?
I know this one. I've already watched the video.
A, the bowl haircut.
The bowl haircut.
B, the number 12.
12.
Or C,
the okay sign.
OK hand sign.
I know the answer to this one. He's going to say all three. But I said originally C, so that's one we go with again, but he's going to say all of them.
The answer is, of course, all of them. Let's go through some more examples.
Lesson to the kids. That's why cheating in school is good. It helps you with the answers.
Hey, remember this guy?
I'm really, really sorry. I'm trying to stay consistent here. I'm really trying to stay consistent here. What is the name of the song? This song, I watched the video for the first time last night, and I heard it in my head. This is Jet Set Radio Future. From Jet Set Radio? Okay, I'll listen to it, because this beat fucking slaps, okay?
Hey, remember this guy? I've actually never showed him properly on my channel.
I remember him.
But most of you probably know it's Pepe the Frog.
Yeah.
Pepe the Frog was a booming meme from 2015 to 2016. Everyone loved this guy. From what started in just a pretty small comic book, was adopted by the internet to become the biggest meme of that time. Celebrities were posting him, and what made Pepe so popular was that he could be made into anything. And the fact that there were so many different versions of Pepe became a meme in itself.
I want to point out, by the way, and I think this is very important, just so all of us can deflate ourselves a little bit, Pepe is basically just the internet savvy minion. Just so we all know, when we see the Facebook post by our great aunt and it has like some post and it's got like a minion next to it, that's basically what Pepe is. I know it hurts, but it's basically the same thing. It's completely true. Now, I find Pepe funnier because Pepes are more expressive and they don't have that obnoxious corporate tie. Also, they're a little bit less juvenile, but let's be real. Like, let's be honest here. Yeah, people are reeing out. Yeah, it's basically the same thing, just so we all know.
Pepe practically became too popular, and versions of Pepe that should never have been made was created, which changed things a lot.
All right, here we go.
But they were all of them deceived.
Boomer reference.
Another ring was made.
Oh my god, they're Nazis. I don't know why they're crabs instead of frogs. I guess crabs and frogs are both aquatic themed?
Emerging racist ideology known as the alt-right.
Jr., for example, he put this image on his Instagram account. It's a meme of Pepe. And for those of you who don't know, Pepe is a white nationalist symbol.
Are essentially nihilists who do it for the lulz. Basically, that means for the heck of it.
Okay, I need to clarify something. I clarified it the first time I watched this video too. The Pepe is a fucking Zoomer ass internet meme, which means that it is well beyond the reach of the mainstream media. The mainstream media does not know and will never know the intricacies of how Pepe was created and is used. They are not capable of it. That's just an old media thing. They can't do it. So I'm not saying I'm in favor of these fucking 45-year-old, 55-year-old multimillionaires sitting behind Anchor's desk talking about how, and today reports came out that one of the shooters once liked a Twitter post that had a cartoon green frog known as Peep to the internet crowd. The Peep is known as a white nationalist symbol. Anyone who has seen their children engage with online content that includes one of these peeps shown here being sad should immediately report. Like, I'm not going for that angle or anything. The Pepe. The Pepe was originally just like this comic strip thing, and then it really blew up like Felix said, and it kind of became ubiquitous. But it was always, at least after its sort of memification, associated with 4chan. I mean, of course, it's 4chan. Like, that's where you get it from. And the problem isn't necessarily so much a reflection of Pepe as it is 4chan. Because 2015, 2016, 4chan's demographics really changed. You want to talk about demographic change? Ooh, boy, let me tell you. It used to be that 4chan was known predominantly for B. Remember B? I guess it would be this for you guys because you're reversed because I'm looking into a camera. Remember B? The random board, that's what it was known for the epic, this is also 2011 now, for the epic troll fest, haha, new fag, haha, like that was what it was known for. Yeah, you guys remember, yeah, come on. Anyone here who's like older than like 20 should remember. I was all over 4chan back in high school. Like, I get it, But 4chan was also really big for, like, its anime board, A, or its illustration board, I, or its gaming or traditional gaming board, GNTG, respectively. There was a really wide, I guess, diverse community on 4chan. But now, most of the traffic that goes to 4chan goes to a new board, or relatively new. It's not as old as the other ones. It's called Pull, politically incorrect. You probably know all of this already. But, I mean, let's just call the spade, facts over feels. Pull is basically a Nazi board. politically incorrect. It was where the people who were so insufferably, degenerately conservative would go. Again, if you're into that shit, like, this vid's not for you. But most of what Pull is basically talking about, like, the inferiority of the Negroid, how Jews control the world, how women should shut their mouths and learn their place, and how gay people are degenerates who rape children. I can't even show you Pull. Like, I could pull it up on stream right now. There's a decent chance I would show something that would get me banned off YouTube, you know? Which would be an issue. Which would be a big old issue. Because then I wouldn't make my YouTube dollar. Whatever the case may be. Pull got big. It's got really fucking big. And it's basically a Nazi board. It was originally described as a containment board, but look how that's worked out. Now they're the biggest fucking board on 4chan. And Pepe began to be used pretty frequently there, as is, you know, synonymous with the culture of 4chan. And if Nazis are using Pepe, they're going to make Nazi Pepes. That's just how it goes. It's easy. It just works, you know? I just want to clarify this very important how this transition happened. The Nazi Pepes didn't just emerge from people trolling, because people have put Nazi hats on every internet meme for as long as the internet has been around. The association between Pepe and white nationalism came specifically because a large group of white nationalists used it. So it's not just trolling. I'm sure some of the people there are trolling, but I mean, there are people who go there like every day, 6 hours a day, to talk about the black skull shape. I mean, these people aren't joking. Like, they believe this. You're a fool if you think those are all memes. I just want to clarify how that sort of, you know, kicked off. But please, Felix.
Racist, anti-Semitic, and overall just offensive Pepe memes were spread across the internet.
True.
And the future of Pepe looked bleak.
True.
But there were some who resisted.
Boomer meme.
Some people fought back.
You got to use the Hobbit now.
A movement called #SavePepe was created by Matt Fury, Pepe's creator, to try and bring Pepe back to something positive. The internet tried to help, even ADL tried to help, but it was too late. Pepe was declared dead by Matt Fury, and in one of his comic strips, we see Pepe for the last time. This, of course, hasn't stopped Pepe from being used.
I just want to clarify, by the way, what Pewdiepie just said is correct. I keep calling Pewdiepie Felix. I guess I should say Felix because I'm referring to him as a person and not the content. I have no fucking idea. Whatever the case may be, the creator of Pepe did try to create a campaign to, like, save Pepe. Just to clarify, he wasn't trying to save Pepe from, like, negativity. He was trying to save Pepe as an icon from neo-Nazis. Just to clarify. Not from, like, trolling or being mean or being hateful on its own or anything. Just to save it from Nazism, fascism, white nationalism, white supremacy, so on and so forth. Like, that's what he was trying to pull it from, you know? And, like, Godspeed, again. Can I get my frog roll call? Can we show the people of this future YouTube video how much we love our funny frogmen? Can I see it? Pull it out, folks. That's what I want. Oh, look at all these funny frogmen. Beautiful. Beautiful. Listen, we all have love, okay? We all have love for our beautiful green frog friend, okay? There's no hatred in our hearts here. Look at that. Beautiful. Phenomenal. How do I make a frogman? You'll learn one day. Nunamir. Beautiful. Now, anyway, I'm just pointing out, like, no hatred towards the symbol or anything.
By normal people or people with bad intentions. But Matt did what he had to do to distance himself from what it had become.
This is one of the first problems that I have with Felix's video here. Felix keeps saying stuff like, to make Pepe a symbol of positivity, or to save it from bad intentions. But since we're kind of talking about hate symbols in this video, we're talking about how symbols have been used and co-opted by, like, Nazi groups in this video. It's a little bit strange that Felix seems unwilling to specifically identify the things that we're referring to. Earlier he said racist and anti-Semitic, but I think for the entirety of the video, that's literally all he does to specifically identify the ideologies that are tied up in the hate he's describing here, which is a little weird, right? I mean, if you're doing like a nearly 10-minute documentary on hate symbols, it kind of makes sense to describe the hate you're referring to. So that's my issue number one. It feels like he's not mentioning it a lot, which is an issue because it could give people the impression when watching this video that this was all just kind of like a trolling thing, you know? Just people being kind of like goofy and silly on the internet. And that becomes an issue when you talk about how much real life harm symbols like this have been used for, which we're gonna get to.
It's a kind of sad story how hate triumphs, but Matt is still trying to save Pepe. If you want, you can check out a Kickstarter link in the description. Either way, people were ready to move on. But from the ashes of Pepe came something far worse.
You have to use the Hobbit now. Time moves on.
It's the photo from the White House causing controversy today. The photo shows President Trump posing with White House interns. At the president's request, all the young men and women give his thumbs up signature. But look at the intern in the back row. He's making a hand gesture that's quite different than any of the others. To some, it appears to symbolize white power. The white power signal is made with the right hand and outstretched fingers that make a W and P, as in white power.
Hold on, we're not seriously falling for this, are we?
Okay. All right. We got to take this serious now. Pewds? Okay, I'm going to let you go on for just a second more, but then I've got to jump in, okay?
The origin of the white power OK hand sign was quickly traced back to 4chan. The idea was to create another hate symbol like Pepe as a way to troll and to create political discourse.
All right, so now we've got a real issue here. So, again, I'm not trying to ascribe any intentions to Pewds over here, but, and I've talked about this before, how hate symbols work, okay? Look at this.
Some people like Pepe.
So this was posted on, I assume, 4chan's politically incorrect board, the one I referred to earlier. We must flood Twitter and other social media websites with spam claiming that the OK hand sign is a symbol of white supremacy. Make fake accounts with basic white girl names and type shit like, oh my god, that's so true. Use as many emojis as you please, blah blah blah. Leftists have dug so deep down into their lunacy, we must force to dig more until the rest of society ain't going anywhere near that shit. So, I've talked about this before, and this is hard for some people to grasp, but this is very, very important, okay? Symbols are what we make them. That's symbology. Symbols mean what we choose them to mean. Like, we create the meaning. They don't have intrinsic meaning or anything like that. It's not like this jug of water. Like, this jug, I know what this jug of water does. It delivers me delicious hydration, okay? That's what it does. But symbols, this is up to interpretation. So for as long as I can remember, I have no idea what like the origin of the OK sign is. The OK sign literally just means things are okay. That's why it's called the OK sign. You get it? See, okay? See? It makes sense. It kind of looks like an OK, right? You're looking at it reversed right now because you're on the cam, but we got the O, and this is, maybe there's a K somewhere here, right? You know? The problem is that Felix refers to this as something people do to troll. But you can't really troll with the symbols, because if white nationalists or white supremacists or Nazis or whatever start actually using those symbols to identify themselves, then it's not trolling anymore. Then it actually is a hate symbol. That's how it works. If a bunch of neo-Nazis get together and they all have like a little buddy-buddy meeting, you know, they're all just, you know, chatting up and whatever, and they're like, hey, what if we make the double gun sign a Nazi symbol? And anytime we'll do this. This is the super Nazi symbol, not just regular Nazis. This is the super Nazi symbol, okay? We do this, you know? And then a few of these people like get arrested because they bashed some granny's head in or whatever. They do this in their court pictures, or they'll do this publicly, or the people online will start like posting pictures of themselves doing this, and then you look at their Twitter like history and it's full of like Holocaust denial. It's not actually a joke anymore. They just made it that symbol. Now, the reason people do symbols like that, where it's like really ambiguous and you don't know if someone's just like, what? Maybe somebody's just doing this, like what the fucking whatever. Maybe someone's just throwing the okay sign up. People do that shit all the time. Don't divers do that a lot? I used to go scuba diving. That's how you indicate that you're okay. You do the okay sign, you know? Are all these people white supremacists? No, of course not. Don't be fucking stupid. I'm not accusing you of being stupid. I'm to the imaginary audience. But the issue is, when there's ambiguity over the use of those symbols, it becomes a dog whistle. The point of a dog whistle is, well, exactly the same point that an actual real-life physical dog whistle is. It's a signal that's supposed to be heard by some people, but not by others. So, when neo-Nazis do this to each other, like to one another, they know what they're doing. And when neo-Nazis do this in public, well, some people know what they're doing, and most people probably think they're just throwing up the okay sign. And some people don't know, because it's really hard to tell sometimes. Like, look at this. Like, and I mentioned this the first time I went over this video, but this remains very strange to me. Look at this man right here. This is a man in a crowd of like 100 people that have all been asked to give the same hand sign. The thumbs up, and every single person here is doing it. You see, like 100. I don't know how many. I'm not fucking counting. And exactly one person isn't doing it, and it's an intern. He's not smiling. He's dead staring at the camera with a very visible, very explicit hand gesture, calling attention to his hand, and it is a symbol which has been traced publicly to white nationalist advocacy. Now, does that make him a neo-Nazi? Well, no, I can't. I mean, I don't fucking know the guy. I have no fucking idea. But Trump has had people in his cabinet who are white supremacists, like Steve Bannon and the like. Trump is supported by white supremacists. He got the racist vote in this country. I mean, that's just a fact. He got the support of the KKK. He got the endorsement of David Duke, you know. I'm not saying if you like Trump, you're a racist, but if you're a racist, there's a decent odds you either like Trump or don't like Trump because he didn't go far enough. And in that climate, to have this, that's just a little strange, don't you think? This is for like a big photo op too, right? Like the fucking president is there, is he not? Yeah, that's the Donster right there. And in this photo, of all photos, somebody flashes a symbol associated with white nationalism, which is already associated with Donald Trump's campaign. He does it in a very visible sense, and he does it when everyone else has been explicitly told to give a different symbol. Pewdiepie kind of treats this like it's silly, like he includes this as just some like random example of the media being crazy and hyperbolic and stuff. I don't know if that's hyperbolic. I don't know if that's... I don't know. This is actually pretty suspect. I'm not saying he should like instantly lose his job or whatever, but I think people should be concerned of the possibility, the very real possibility, that someone is in this photo and a white supremacist, an avowed one, signaling to other white supremacists, yeah, here we are in the White House. That's an issue. And I think people would recognize easily that that's a problem if this was some historical photo. Like, imagine if this was some historical photo of like the Weimar Republic back in like 1921 or something, and there was like a council meeting, you know what I mean? And someone and like everyone over there is like they're all giving like a little howdy do to the camera, like the old timey flash, like the phosphorus cameras that they used back then or whatever. And then one of the person is just like casually showing off like an armband with like the swastika, which at the time, by the way, not really associated with much negative stuff, or I don't know, doing a little Sikh. I don't know, maybe not a perfect comparison, but I think if you look at it through the lens of history, you recognize like, oof, ouch, owie, you know, like, oh, ooh, I don't know, I don't like that. But now, because it's today and because it's covered by a bunch of dumb fuck boomer media personalities, then we just kind of gloss it over? I don't know. Whatever, Pewds, take it away.
And to create political discourse. Some people took the bait, obviously. But it was also at this time that the circle game
The way he describes it too, take the bait. I mean, it's not taking the bait if there are actual white supremacists using the symbol. Like that's not taking the bait. At that point, you're just identifying the existence of a symbol that is being used to signify white supremacy.
was again becoming popular online.
You looked. Ow!
Malcolm in the Middle is a good show. Watch that shit.
Oh, I love it!
Do you?
I do!
Why don't you show everybody what you got?
We're doing this new thing called the circle game.
The basic gist of the game is haha made you look while making the OK sign underneath your waist. People mocked just how stupid the idea was.
Again, I just want to point out, nobody believes that every person who throws up the OK sign is a white supremacist. That's kind of what's being implied here. See, like, nobody actually believes this. This is just an example, I think, of people like hyperbolizing the opposition's interests. Nobody actually believes. I mean, look, wait, I can give an example right here. Wait, check it out. Watch this. Here we go. To be sorted. Desktop, my ambitions, stream assets, stream art assets, and then here we go. Look, I showed this before, but look, I also drew. I drew myself. This is exactly what I look like. Don't shame. I drew myself doing the circle game below the waist. That's the rule for the game in Malcolm in the Middle. If you do this below your waist, then you get to punch the other person. You know? So I'm not some like crazy dogmatic weirdo insisting that everyone who ever used this symbol is a white supremacist. Nobody is saying that. And anyone who is saying that, because there are probably some people saying that, like I'm not saying literally no one. I mean, nobody important is saying that every person who ever throws up the OK sign is a white nationalist. That's a bad take, obviously. But it's also a bad take to say that all of this is just trolling and there's no like actual real problems here, you know? There's no actual association. Let me give you an example. So this one I think is pretty relevant to the video that Pewdiepie is made here, and he never mentions it once, which is a little weird. Some of you might be familiar with this picture. The man with the blurred face in the center killed 50 Muslims at Christchurch. He did so after saying on a Facebook live stream, "Subscribe to Pewdiepie." Do you think this is like do you think he's playing the circle game down here? Do you think he's trying to make everyone who read the news article have to be punched by him if he ever gets out of here? Pewdiepie never includes this in his video. It's an example of a terrorist, a white supremacist terrorist, who believed in multiple neo-Nazi conspiracy theories. Not only throwing up the OK sign, but doing so after shouting "subscribe to Pewdiepie." I mean, this was tied to Pewdiepie. And he never mentions it in this video. I understand why he wouldn't want to retread stuff that's probably like painful for him, and I imagine it really fucking sucks to be associated with a literal human monster like this. But like, man, trying to play off the OK sign thing is just like a prank people fell for. When a terrorist who shouted your name before killing 100 people threw it up in front of the court cameras? That's just really strange to me. That's just really fucking weird to me, Felix. I don't know. I think that just playing this off like a joke in this documentary he's made is harmful. I think it's very deliberately harmful. And I can say that with some confidence because, and again, I'm not ascribing any intention to Pewdiepie here. This is kind of what the people who use the OK symbol unironically want. They want you to think it's all just a meme, all just a joke. Don't worry about it. You're hyperbolic. You're oversensitive. You're delusional. There's nothing here. because that makes it easier for them to dog whistle, and it makes it easier for them to grow without facing significant public opposition because people are underestimating them. And I think that's what PewDiePie is doing here. He's underestimating them. Or at the very least, he's disseminating information which would lead other people to underestimate them, which is, I think, even worse of an issue.
Some used it as an opportunity to provoke, but it was obvious it was another Pepe, and this time there was solid proof that it was a troll operation.
Again, wait. PewDiePie just said it was another Pepe, but earlier in the video he acknowledged that Pepe was actually being used by far-right groups. But now he's saying it's a troll. That's a little bit weird. Earlier he specifically said that there was actual hate associated with the Pepe. But now he's saying that just like Pepe, this is just another troll. And what he's showing here, by the way, isn't a troll. This is called a psyop. When people who are actual white supremacists work collectively to spread lies and misinformation that benefit their movement, that's not trolling, it's a psyop, and it's a political tactic people use to gain power. Calling this trolling is to force a level of frivolity onto it, which is incredibly unwarranted.
So, people did the responsible thing this time and declared the OK sign wasn't a hate symbol.
We can verify tonight that the claim the OK sign is a hate symbol is false.
Just pointing out, you can't just objectively determine whether or not something is a hate symbol. It doesn't actually work like that. Symbols are how they're used. You can't just like, well, no, there we go. We've determined objectively what this symbol means to everyone else. Congratulations.
But it's never really that easy.
I mean, for his background.
Shortly after, the unthinkable happened.
Weather, the forecast track of the storm, we've actually started.
This song also slaps. What is this from?
To reposition assets closer to the.
Doing the OK hand gesture is not okay. Blizzard was right to ban it.
Just doing it regular, and as I was looking at the camera, he started to put the universal white supremacist hate sign on her shoulder.
So I just want to point out, by the way, this is exactly what, I'm not ascribing anything to PewDiePie here, but this is exactly what far-right people do when they're trying to downplay their movement. It's that they'll show a bunch of hyperbolic, frivolous, hysterical news media segments of them overreacting to seemingly innocuous events and use this as a bludgeon to paint the entire condemnation of that symbol as meaningless or frivolous. Do you remember that? I mean, you've seen that happen before, haven't you? Like, this is what conservatives do, too. They'll be like, you do like the scary announcement. The scary announcement will be like, oh yeah, you know, like it'll be a picture of like a conservative, like outside having a snowball fight. And then scary music will play while a bunch of headlines from actual like scientific organizations roll across the screen talking about how we only have so and so much time before our planet is reduced to a inhospitable ball of CO2, you know? It's exactly the same mentality. You don't make any arguments. You just dismiss the entire point by providing, I guess, examples that seem frivolous when overlaid with silly music. That's basically it, you know, like having a little snowball fight. Earth only has 12 years. Ha ha ha, snowball hits the face. You know, like the implication is obvious. But it's deeply dishonest. I mean, you're not really making any arguments here. It's the mainstream media. Of course, the mainstream media is going to have some dumb fuck, hyperbolic, frivolous, unnecessary takes on issues. They're going to blow things up. They're sensationalist. That's how capitalism works. That's just how it works. Same with Twitter, you know, likes and follows and stuff. But that doesn't mean this entire thing is meaningless. And some of the examples Pewds is rolling through here, I think have a little bit more ground to them than he might be implying with this little montage.
Has been hot. The incident happened while former Cub Doug Glanville was on the air for NBC Sports Chicago. A man seated behind him flashed an upside-down OK gesture, which is said to be a symbol of white power. The broadcast cut to a graphic with stats, but the gesture was seen for several seconds. The Cubs actively working to track down that person who made that gesture.
So again, like, what is this meant to prove? No, like, we don't know the specifics of any of the examples that were provided there. Some of them are probably pretty silly. Like, for example, that one at the sports one we just saw, that one's probably pretty silly. Working to track down a fan because they threw up that, like, nah, that's pretty fucking dumb. But like, again, I deal with politics in my day-to-day. Like, that's literally my job. I interact with a fair number of far-right people. Again, it's just part of my work. These people use the OK sign. It's not you're not trolling when you're ironically using the OK sign, but you're actually unironically a Nazi. Like, that's not how irony works. You're just unironically using the OK sign with a little wink and a nudge. That's just how dog whistles work. It's simple. And dog whistles, thankfully, are only used when the political group that uses them is in a stage where they can't openly, vocally express their political opinions. A lot of the people who are doing this would much rather be saying, we need to secure a future for the white race and for white children. Or a lot of people who are, you know, on social media spamming the honkler clown with the OK symbols clown world shit would much rather be saying that the white race is being subjected to systemic ethnic displacement on account of Jews bringing in people from the third world. Like, a lot of people who have 1488 in their profile and joke about 14 out of 88 blanks being completed would much rather be talking about the natural inferiority of the negroid and how their skull shape precludes them from having a higher level of creativity than the white man. That's why it's a dog whistle. And again, I'm not saying that these people are like living under your bed or anything, but they're out there. They've been out there for like a century. It's not like the concept of people like this isn't exactly new, you know? Like, this is just the far right. That's just what the far right is like. And if you're in favor of those things, I don't know why you made it this far into the video, but if you're not, you should be worried about pieces of media that downplay the symbology these people use to quietly express and signify their power levels. Like this one. That should be an issue to you. Hey, Felix.
Hello.
Looking
It's
cute
me.
as always.
Tired of editing this video. I keep seeing the argument that, well, the swastika was taken by the Nazis, so symbols do change meaning. Like, it used to mean the sun or whatever. It came from Buddhism, so yeah, even if the OK symbol used to mean OK, these things change. The validity of its changed meaning is pointed towards white supremacists now actually using it. But of course they're gonna use it. Unlike other hate symbols, this was given to them.
Okay, so right now, he just admits, he just said it, that white supremacists use this symbol. So, there we go. It's not like white supremacists use this symbol to give each other the okay. They use this symbol to signify their white supremacy. I don't know what he means by given to them. I mean, they're the ones who made it a dog whistle for themselves, but let's see.
Stop making it so easy for these people.
What?
Like, white supremacists have used the sign. Why the hell wouldn't they?
What?
The problem with these
Wait, what does that mean? Wait, white supremacists use this sign, why wouldn't they? Wait. What does that mean? Wait, it's other people's fault that white supremacists went onto a white supremacist forum and decided collectively to use that as a white supremacist hate symbol? What? That's just really weird. Like, why are we getting the flack for that? If the implication here is that the media is giving it power by reporting on it, that's exactly what Nazis want you to believe. That by covering them, by giving them attention, by exposing what they're doing, you're only giving them more power. But in fact, the opposite has always been true. The more attention, the more scrutiny that's thrown onto these groups, the less likely they are to achieve any type of mainstream credibility. That's why they dog whistle, because they don't want the attention. They want to signify their political interest to other groups of people without drawing that attention. And when you give them that attention, sometimes there's stupid backlash, like when the media goes too far and we're hunting down the person who threw up the OK symbol at the football game. Of course, that's stupid. But the fact that they're dog whistling means that they don't want the attention. Giving it to them is beneficial. What would you do otherwise? Just let them take over symbols willy-nilly? Let them signal to one another, and any time you complained about it, you're reminded, chastised? That you're only giving them what they want? That's not what they want. They don't want quote-unquote normies being aware of what their symbology means. They want to be able to sneak into people's lives and slowly red pill them with based Nazi ideology. And they can only do that if there's a presumed innocence to begin with. This is what I mean when I said that this video kinda sort of plays into the interests of the far right. I don't know if PewDiePie is doing it intentionally or not, but this is really strange, and this kind of mirrors the sentiments that I sometimes see expressed by people who I know to be Nazis who are pretending not to be Nazis. I see them on Twitter. They've usually got like a Honkler or Groyper avatar, and they'll talk about how there are no more Nazis and about how everyone else is delusional for seeing Nazis everywhere, like we're a madman swiping at ghosts, you know? And then I check their profile, and it's full of Holocaust denial and unironic like pictures of like white women in poppy fields with captions on how the white race needs to survive the Negroid menace. Like that's what they want you to believe. When Nazis show you what they want, they're also showing you what they're afraid of. What they want is for people not to pay attention to them, to not recognize their symbols. What they're afraid of is people knowing what they're doing.
Hate symbols is that there's people who like to demonize other people, and there's people that like to troll. And these
I also want to point this out because I mentioned this in the original video too. So the way that he's framing this as a dichotomy between people who troll and like Twitter checkmarks, when he already acknowledged that white supremacists use these symbols, is really weird. Why is he downplaying people he's already acknowledged are white supremacists by calling them trolls, right? Like, most epic troll of when was this, 2017, 2018? Right? Also, the symbol that he's used right here, I don't know if he's aware of this, you know? I don't know how internet familiar PewDiePie is, but that Groyper, it's called a Groyper, the one on the left, the rather fat, smug-looking Pepe, is a explicitly Nazi-associated symbol. It's currently being used by a member of the alt-right called Nick Fuentes, who believes that race mixing is degenerate and the Holocaust didn't happen. And it's associated pretty much exclusively with him. You can find this out by going on google.com, Groyper, know your meme. You see, this isn't some super top secret piece of information that only savvy 4chan veterans would know. All you have to do is type in, Groyper, know your meme. Let's see. Refers to an exploitable illustration of Pepe the Frog resting his chin, variations of which are commonly used as profile avatars among the alt-right and the new right on Twitter, and the alternative social networking service WrongThink. Additionally, Groypers, also known as the Groyper Army, is the name of a group of far-right and alt-right nationalists and conservatives, critical of the mainstream conservatism and led by political commentator Nicholas J. Fuentes, the aforementioned person. So, again, this isn't super secret information. You can just this is the first paragraph of Groyper, and he includes it saying like people who like to demonize others and people who like to troll. The people who use that symbol aren't trolling, dude. They're actual neo-Nazis. Like, why are you downplaying that? I'm pretty sure you can literally just type Groyper and the know your meme. Yeah, the know your meme thing is literally the top result if you simply type in Groyper. And the first sentence of that article is on it being an alt-right symbol. That's it. Like, I don't know what to say. Like, is Is PewDiePie like deliberately downplaying Nazi symbols? Or is he accidentally doing it? Or does he think that just everyone is trolling and there's no such thing as real Nazis? In spite of the very real evidence that he should be familiar with, that there are in fact real Nazis out there who actually use these symbols and then go on to hurt other people. So, I mean, again, like, I don't know. It's really, really strange.
These two just play into each other perfectly. They both get exactly what they want from each other. One gets a reaction, the other gets an outrage.
And this is also the lie that Nazis say. Nazis say, haha, keep exposing what we do and commenting on what we do and pointing out our hate symbols. It only makes us stronger. Ha, keep attempting to deplatform us. It only makes us stronger. And then they get weaker. That's why they dog whistle. That's what they want you to think. This isn't conspiratorial. This is literally how it works.
And then you have normal people in between who's not even playing this game that gets caught up in it. I'm not saying that anyone that gets mad over someone using the sign is part of some outrage mob, but there is a clear culture around getting upset. It's false virtue rewarded with likes. We're basically training ourselves to act like this.
And he's spending a lot of time critiquing the people who are mad about, again, to be fair, neo-Nazis using symbols to express their neo-Nazi alignment. And he's spending essentially no time or placing no burden of responsibility on the people who are actually neo-Nazis. For all I know, he thinks they're trolling. They're just trolls, apparently. It's all just a joke. So, like, that's kind of a weird dichotomy, to make a video on hate symbols and then use it to rail against people pointing out the existence of hate symbols while systemically delegitimizing the existence and threat those hate symbols actually pose and framing neo-Nazis as just trolls. That's a little bit strange.
And to be clear, I don't think spamming the OK sign, hey look, are you mad now? Like, that's not helping either, obviously. If you look in the instances that I showed, logically, the evidence that they are signaling white power is so incredibly weak, but it just doesn't matter.
Yeah, because you chose those examples from the news to look as frivolous as possible and ignored certain examples that somebody who's a little bit more honest than you might have chose to put in. Like, yeah, no shit. You're the one who chose those videos, Felix. But you could have chose other examples that would have made it seem a little bit more prescient. And you didn't. And that's on you, not on the media.
You didn't. Try sitting like this. It is actually comfortable. Wait, what was her name again? I forgot. Fuck. Apparently, she's half Mexican, half Polish Jewish grandchild of a Holocaust survivor.
This is also a little bit weird. Apparently, some lady was sitting like this or something. I don't know who it is, and I don't care. I don't know why we're talking about her ethnicity, as though that has anything to do with what political opinions she might have. I'll tell you, I've met plenty of Nazis who have chidedly smirked at me and said, they can't be a Nazi, they're 1/4 Italian or 1/4 Spanish or something. And it's a lie, of course. It's dishonest. You can be a Nazi regardless of your skin color or religion. Believe it or not, historically, there are Nazis all over the place. I don't know if this bitch is a Nazi or not. I have no fucking idea. And I don't care. Like, even slightly. It's just weird to me that he's pulling out this defense.
But she was accused of flashing the white power hand symbol. Circle game has been used in news media before. It's just a way to see, haha, got you all.
You'll note, by the way, that when people play the circle game, like gotcha thing, nobody accuses them of using this, using the OK sign as a white supremacist hate symbol. PewDiePie is making it sound as though anytime anyone ever throws up this at any time under any context, they're accused by the media of throwing out a hate symbol, which is simply not the case. That's the narrative that he's pushing.
Everyone is aware that it's been co-opted by a small group of people. And they shouldn't. No one should know these things.
Wait, that's weird. He said they shouldn't, which seemed at first like he was implying that white nationalists shouldn't use that symbol. But then he was saying we shouldn't know those things? My dude, Felix, the Nazis don't want you to know what dog whistles they use. That's the point of the dog whistles. Why are you saying people shouldn't be aware of the dog whistles that other groups use? That's the point of them. If you're not aware of them, then they can continue to use them without other people realizing what their ideology actually is. Do you want Nazis to get away with spreading and promoting their ideology without other people recognizing they're doing so? Because that is the inevitable consequence of what you were implying in this video.
The guy flashing the sign during the Blizzard footage stepped up, even though there was no reason for him to do so, and explained, yeah, that was me. I actually had no idea it had any other meaning. The most recent incident of this happening was the Gru costume at Warner Brothers that got fired because they discovered in their home video that he made the OK hand sign.
That's a little weird, by the way. I don't know, like, again, I don't know or care about this one specific incident that he has decided to focus on rather than the glaring and obvious examples of it being used as a white supremacist hate symbol. But this is like, if you're an adult and you're posing with a child and there's a media frenzy on this being used as a white supremacist hate symbol, and then you put that symbol on the shoulder of the black kid that you're taking a picture with, making sure it's visible in the camera frame, again, I don't know, but I feel like, but that's the thing with dog whistles, right? You don't know. But then Pewdiepie goes on to defend it in a really weird way.
Even though the child is doing it this as well?
No, he's not. He's doing this. He's pointing with his pointer finger. What are you talking about, Pewdiepie? Why is Pewdiepie what is he? This is literally just a kid. This is what the kid is doing. The kid has his hands out, and one of his hands is here. It's reverse view. One of his hands is like this. He's got like this. This is what he's doing. Very normal hand. Like your hands just do this. The adult did this. This is not a natural hand gesture for any human being under any circumstances. And again, I'm not saying that doing this on a kid's shoulder instantly makes you a neo-Nazi. What I'm saying is that Pewdiepie is downplaying that incident and making apologia for it in a really weird way. Why is he pointing out what the kid did?
Why the hell would someone symbol for white power in a private home video?
Because there's a real answer. Because white supremacists are deeply insecure people who get off on whatever tiny acts of power they can invoke over people they feel are inferior. That guy is literally a DreamWorks costume dude at a fucking theme park. He probably doesn't have much power in his life. Flashing a symbol of white supremacy over the shoulder of a black child is probably one of the few ways that person is able to get his rock off. Like, that's it. That's unironically the answer why. It doesn't always have to be some grand conspiracy. It's a symbol of white supremacy. You do it in front of a black kid. Congrats, you've cucked them. People photobomb all the time. Photobombing is like a proud tradition. And sometimes you do it in silly ways, and sometimes you do it to flex on the people taking the photo. That was photobombing. Like, what do you want? I don't know if he's a neo-Nazi. I don't know if it's just a ridiculous hand symbol that he coincidentally happened to form without knowing what the implications were. I just don't like how Pewdiepie is downplaying it.
Who is he signaling to? The parents? By acting angry and upset over these things, you're giving validity to the symbol.
Well, no, you're not. They made the symbol what it is. If Pewdiepie was right here, the best way to deal with neo-Nazis would be to ignore them and never acknowledge the symbols they use to spread hate. Which is, funnily enough, exactly what the neo-Nazis seem interested in doing, because they also claim that anyone who sees these symbols as hateful is delusional.
It's supposed to be a dog whistle. That's how this is defended. Oh, we need to know about these things.
Yes?
If it's a dog whistle, it's a goddamn megaphone. Everyone gets called out on it.
That's literally not a counter-argument. What the fuck are you talking about? it's not a dog whistle because everyone is getting called out in it, you're playing defense for it. If it wasn't a dog whistle, then it would just be them saying that they support a white ethno-state and the execution or deportation of non-whites. Then it wouldn't be a dog whistle. It is still a dog whistle because there are still people like you defending it. Because there are still people who do not know what's going on, who do not know what this symbol means or what the people who use it believe in.
On the one hand, it can control a response that they can deny, but it also can signal their support for white supremacist ideas.
So the argument is that you can use it and then just say, no, you're doing the okay sign. So we need to know about this so we can't allow white supremacists to dog whistle to each other. Well, congratulations, you're doing that.
How are we making white supremacists dog whistle to each other by recognizing that they are using it to dog whistle to each other? These arguments are actually incoherent. And I don't think that Felix is like a preposterously stupid man. I don't think he's like a 50 IQ retard or anything like that. He's done well for himself. So it's really strange to me that he's making, in a documentary that he made, in a documentary that he edited and put together and chose clips for, that he's making such bad arguments that all line up perfectly with what right-leaning people would want you to believe about dog whistles.
By accusing people that aren't white supremacists of being white supremacists, you are helping white supremacists. I think that's what annoys me so much about this whole thing. It's really not about what's the best outcome. And I think when we don't care about the outcome, that's when we really destroy ourselves. Here's what I need you to do. Don't get upset about the hand sign and don't spam it like, oh, I'm so epically trolling you.
Again, the dichotomy here is between the hysterical media and people who troll. He's downplaying, he's doing it again. He's downplaying the existence of people who legitimately use the symbol to spread hate. And I keep using this picture because this is such an obvious counter-argument to everything PewDiePie is saying here. You can't frame it as a troll when they're a white nationalist terrorist pulling it off in court. It's not a troll anymore, but he's framing it as one. Just like the Groyper is a troll. Just like all of this is a joke. Just like you're giving them the attention that they crave when you pay attention to how they use their hate symbols.
Oh God. Oh no. The thumb of one race.
Shut up. Anyway, I like, by the way, that the video itself is called "The Bro Fist is declared a hate symbol, this is bad," when nothing in the video has anything to do with the bro fist being a hate symbol. Like, the video, not only is it clickbait, it's actually factually dishonest. If somebody were just to see the title but not actually watch the video, they might believe that the SPLC or the ADL or something actually declared the bro fist as a hate symbol. Which is what I believed when I saw the title before watching the video. I thought I was about to have to say, okay, listen, I disagree with some of the things PewDiePie does, but I don't think the bro fist is a hate symbol. But the video had nothing to do with that. It's funny because the video is about him hyperbolizing the frivolity of media coverage of hate symbols, when his title is itself hyperbolizing the extent to which the media does so. The reason why this is a problem for me is because this now has nearly 5 million views. A lot of those people are probably from less politically interested, less politically inclined demographics who don't know that much about dog whistles or how symbols are used. And it's really, really weird to me that somebody who has such a large audience, particularly a young audience like Felix, is producing videos like this, which, let me be perfectly clear, are representing the positions neo-Nazis want represented because it assists in their political radicalization. I'm not saying he's doing it deliberately, even though he was doing some real stupid fucking picking and choosing with the media clips that he used later on in the video, even though he was playing defense for a lot of those clips, even though he was taking symbols that are clearly associated with the far right and playing them off as trolling. I don't know why somebody would make this video if not to signal support for the far right, because that's what this video was. And now there are probably over 1 million impressionable apolitical people who think there's no harm whatsoever to these symbols, that there's no sincerity behind them, it's all just trolling and the media is crazy and hyperbolic, everything else the Nazis want you to believe, because that's the reason they dog whistle. I don't know why anyone else, I don't know why a person would make the video otherwise. I just don't. It doesn't make sense to me. It's really, really strange. It's very, very strange. And again, if you like Nazi shit, cool. Have fun. But if you don't, you have to recognize that the Nazis only lost because other people stood up to them. They don't just naturally fade off into the void. They don't just naturally dissipate. And whereas PewDiePie seems awfully interested in convincing people to not spend too much time thinking about or criticizing white nationalist dog whistles, I'm a little bit more interested in doing what is necessary to keep literal neo-Nazis from achieving any sort of political prominence in this country. I'm in America. I don't know about you. That I consider that a pretty noble endeavor, personally, actually, stopping Nazis. And if you want to stop Nazis, an excellent way to do so would be to pay attention to the symbols that they use. Don't go crazy hyperbole calling everyone who ever does this a neo-Nazi, but learn about the symbols they use, recognize them, and call people out when they're clearly using them to dog whistle. For example, if somebody says, "Hey, I like your outfit today," that's probably okay. That's probably all right, you know? I'm okay with that. I wouldn't have an issue with that. But if somebody says, "America provides far too much foreign aid to Israel, those clowns won't be controlling our government for much longer," well, it doesn't hurt to think about it.